Howdy everybody, it's me, Thor W, with the sinister BB channel music in the background. Anyway, I'm making this video because apparently there's not going to be a rerun of Summer 2021 on FGO's Japanese server. And this is kind of a bit of an upsetting trend, and doesn't look too good for the future of the game, because what they've been doing, and there is a Famitsu interview, let me just point that out, where they asked the Sangol what their plans were for the future, and they said they were planning to do less reruns. And less reruns is something they plan to do, but they're still going to put the banner up. Don't worry, you can still do your gacha pulls. So this came out of nowhere. This is the 2021 banner for a couple of the 5-star servants. You got your Kama and your Okita Soji altar coming out of nowhere. Like, nobody at all was expecting this to get tacked on to the last week of the current summer event. You can see it right here. Blah, 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 talking about the servants being popped out and everything like that. They even put the CEs up, but the CEs are completely useless if the event rerun doesn't happen, because what are you gonna do? You're gonna use this crappy ass CE to gain, hold on, let me, you're gonna gain what? A little bit of extra buster up and 5% more NP gain up? Oh boy, so exciting. Yeah, the CEs suck. They're just there for you to have something to do the event with. So there's no real reason for those. It's all about them putting the servants out. And the problem with this, for those wondering, is that there are certain things you're going to completely miss out on. For example, if they're a welfare servant connected to an event that they don't do a rerun for, unless they go out of their way to put it out in some way, shape, or form, which we've seen in the past is something that they take forever to do, you'll never have access to that servant if you just started playing the game a little bit later than the event started. And whether or not you're an older player or a newer player, you may or may not find a lot of use out of one of those welfare servants. People are not going to be able to get their swimsuit Da Vinci-chan, Lolly Da Vinci-chan, because they're not doing the rerun here. And they haven't put out any sort of statement or plans whatsoever about putting out some sort of way for people to get access to these welfare servants if they don't do reruns. And here's what they replaced the reruns with. Events have in the past been a 2-week affair where you go through your story for basically 1 week, and then the rest of it, the other week, is spent farming. Here's what they replaced it with. They replaced it with the following. Let me just press on this. The event was, as usual, a 1-week affair for the main storyline, and then it got to its epilogue. And then they made it 2 more weeks, so a total of 3 weeks. That way, instead of farming the usual 2 million points, you can farm 6 million points instead to complete the event. That's not good. Making stuff grindier isn't helpful, especially if you're going to completely kill the ability for some people to read through a story that they haven't seen before, in the case of, say, they joined the event a little bit too late. Instead, they just made it a very brainless daily grind for everyone. And a brainless daily grind is okay for, 1 week, like they've been doing. It even starts pushing it, in my opinion, that they're going too far. And instead of shortening that and making it less grindy, they made it more grindy, added another week of basically nothing to do. Nothing interesting going on, I should say, because you don't got any additional story or anything like that, and just added more grind. It would be fine if they improved the events, if they made the events worthwhile for the 3-week affair, and then maybe the rerun, quote-unquote, for the event would be something like the main interlude things that they did, where it's always available to you for one-time clear to get your stuff. Then that would be fine. That'd be perfectly acceptable and no problem whatsoever, but they haven't improved the event quality at all. If anything, they made it worse by making it more grindy. And I'll even go to my room, I'll head to the materials, go on down here to the event quest, go right here to the Arctic Summer, and oh look, it's 8 chapters and an epilogue. It's even shorter than plenty of events have been in the past. So there's way less content, like actual content than there has been for certain other events, equivalent events. And instead they made it longer, gave a whole third SSR, and then tacked on last year's banners so that you could roll for them. I mean, for the people that want the banners, it's nice that they give you the opportunity to roll for the things you missed last year, but with absolutely no heads up whatsoever, especially after the 3 apocalyptic class banners that just came out of Lady Avalon, Ibuki Doji, and Ruler Scotty. That hurts a lot of people's ability to roll in the first place. And the only thing that's really going to do is it might hook some whales that normally wouldn't roll. And this is also the event that happened right after Anniversary, which had Arquaid, who people have been clamoring for literal years. So this is an insane string of banners to go back to back to back to back within about 5-6 weeks altogether. So yeah, personally, I don't like the look of this. I'm hoping that they do something similar to main interludes. I hope they do anything whatsoever to allow people to experience the story of the events and get their welfare servants and their servant coins and stuff like that. And right now, with the way that this event went down, removing rerun events is a poor idea because you're not gaining anything. The quality of the current events hasn't gone up. If the future events have better quality and more content to them to make up for the lack of rerun events, fine. But they gotta do that. And until they do that, this is a bad idea. And if anything, it feels like they're just, I don't want to say lazy or phoning things in, but having 1 week of content and then 2 weeks of farming instead of 1 week of content, 1 week of farming, ain't that different. Especially because they increased the amount of grind rather than decreasing the amount of grind for the events. So it's just not a great look. Not a great look at all. Hopefully they improve things. Hopefully this is just, the first event that came out as they're starting to change things up. And hopefully things will get better over time. I remember there were some other changes in the past that took some easing into, and the first couple of things that came right after the big changes were problems and felt bad, and then they improved them. And we're hoping that they can improve them, because right now that means that there are several different welfares people have no access to whatsoever. Servant coins are an additional thing that these reruns were starting to do for people, and with no access to the reruns, there's no access to servant coins. And if one of those welfares is a servant you really like, say you like Eris or whatever, and you want to max her out, you can't max her out without that rerun. It's not happening at all. So these are all things that really need to get touched on by Lasagna, and hopefully something will come of it. Hopefully this isn't just going to be the new norm, and it's not going to be a week of content and 2 weeks of boring-ass farming. Anyway, I wish everyone luck. If you're going to roll on these new banners, good luck to you. Hope things go well for you. Let's hope for some better improvements on the upcoming events, and for things to start looking a little bit more entertaining, because boy am I farmed out of the current event. Catch you next time, everyone.